starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What up? What up? What up? How's everybody doing on this fine Monday morning? Chime in. Tell me where you're watching from. So this weekend we had our final Gage. Get off the internet. Hold on, Gage. What up, Gage? What up, Gage? Fall break is in the air. So we had our Stephen Osborne is in Puerto Rico, I assume. So I know it's early. It's like 1:26 p.m. and What's up, Greg? What up, Greg? What up, Greg? I have to call you Greg the Ninja Man. Indianapolis. Okay. So let's talk. So we had our Supercharged Saturday Road to the Points Championship this weekend. Rob says, great show this past weekend. It really was. It was a long day. I think it was an 11-hour race. We had, I was talking to, I think it was P-Rod Lister said, well, he got out of his car after getting beaten, I think, in the runoff, or maybe it was before the runoff. He's like, man, I'm wore out. He said, I've raced so much today. And it did not go P-Rod's way. He was the only one in Top ET that had 2 entries from 2 race wins in the runoff and got eliminated on both of those entries. So, first of all, I want to congratulate Keith Purvis. Keith won the Champions of Champions race, and he is your 2023 Top ET points champion. Anthony, the Madman Blackburn. I'm going to turn this off for a second to get the Anthony's name in there. So Anthony and Timmy Rowe was in the final of the runoff, and they were both tied for their X number runoff. They ran those two races separately, just like Clay King and Clayton Watson did, and the juniors did. Then we had Clayton Watson, your 2023 foot brake and sportsman points champion. One tough competitor, Clayton is. And our man, Caden Kratzer, is your 2023 junior dragster points champion. Okay. I'm learning this setup a lot better. Runoff energy was great. I loved seeing the staging lanes the way they were. There was a lot of people hanging out. Man, I just loved seeing, when the staging lanes has that many people in there. I know once everyone got on the ladder from the chip draw, everything was smooth sailing. Some racers had multiple entries. Some only had one. It all just kind of really depended on how many points events you won and attended at the Kentucky Dragway. Really just depends on how much you raced. By having the multiple entries, you were able to, the more you came and raced there, you could have the opportunity to have, Clayton, I think in the junior dragster side of things, you had two racers that had 3 entries apiece. And so the more you race, the more you shots you had at the runoff, which if you go off of old type of point systems, you would have that racer would be doing good anyway. So you had, I think Caden had 3, Jackson had 3, Kratzer had, or not Kratzer, Cromer had 2. So that was interesting getting those guys, because the junior dragsters can't cool as efficient, I would say. Running juniors are with my kids, you put the fans and get them cool as you can, and then come right back up to the stage lane. So that was a little bit of a challenge. We had tiebreakers for the X number runoffs. That went great. Like I said, we had Jackson Arnett, Caden Kratzer, and the junior dragsters. We had Timmy Rowe and Anthony Blackburn going at it. So some really good racing and a lot of it. Good energy, excitement. You had Ricky Rowe. I told Ricky this when he was in the winner's circle. I said, man, you had the Alan Johnson and Tony Schumacher top field deal. I don't remember what year that actually was. I know it's probably had to be several years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, maybe. Ricky had to win the last Supercharged Saturday event of the year to get in, and he did just that. I can remember slightly around the semifinals, I was looking for Ricky, and I saw him over there, and I was like, oh, man, Ricky's still in it. And he got to the finals, and he won it. Beat Delaney Bishop. And, of course, Delaney had a bid for the Champion of Champions race. Ricky had to win the last one and to get in, and he did just that in the Ricky Rowe fashion. With points races getting rained out, Ricky had gotten kind of, I feel like, behind his normal pace, but ended up in the finals of the runoff against track champion now for 2023, Keith Purvis. Again, incredible racing, nail-biting outcomes. So with this type of structure, I know that we've changed a lot of things throughout the years trying to find a model that would work. My point is we get more racers involved in having a shootout at the championship title without having to be at the track every event with the current format. I know When I raced every weekend and traveled to multiple tracks like we did back in the day, I feel like I would have appreciated this type of structure. We understand racers move around. I did the same thing a lot. I get it. That's why we do what we do. I feel like it's the best for both worlds. Runoff. The biggest thing I saw was speculation. With this, racers try to figure out their best game they can play out to their benefit. You couldn't say what ifs. You had to draw first, get on the ladder before you really knew anything. Once everyone was chip drawed onto the ladder that had won a points race, everything went super smooth. Changing we're going to talk about a couple myths here that I want to address. Changing the 2023 point setup is another myth. Until I find a model that I can develop that creates more racers being involved for the points champion crown, I'm not going to stop. I do believe we're closer now than ever. To me, traditional points just doesn't cut it. If you look around, I study a lot of people's point systems, and they're always heavy on the 1, 2, or 3 guys, and then 4, 5, and 6, and on down to 10 is just really, really hit or miss. I was talking to Shane Lyle this morning about their points, and because he is the one that keeps up with all the Straight Axle Mafia points, and he was just talking about some of the challenging aspects of, I guess you could say, more traditional. I get it. We're all creatures of habit. But points are designed to hook the racer into racing with you. People don't want to talk about it or just don't understand it, but that's why it was developed, to get you to a particular racetrack or association regularly and crown a champion at the end of the year. And we had more points sign up this year than we were, around 75 than we had. We always hovered around the 50 on the signups. It was cheaper this year. We had done $10,000 payout the previous 2 years. So that was about a $20,000 pay structure over the last 2 years. This year, we were just doing gold cards, jacket, and trophy, and then really trying to put a lot of emphasis on the Supercharged Saturday weekends. And as you guys know, those that signed up for points got a 20% discount on points weekends. I have a sign that hangs in my race shop that says change the existing model until you make the old model obsolete. It's now 2023 and things are much different. Some will like it and I know some won't. My mind has always wants as many participants as possible. When I see the staging lanes, there was just a lot of good energy. I know there was a couple that were confused, didn't really know how it worked, but I was just kind of saying, trust the process and getting this going. And once we get everybody on the ladder, I'll be able to explain it better, but we couldn't do that until we did the chip draw, because until you kind of know who you're racing and what you're doing, you don't really know how to handle that outcome. We did the countdown and reset a couple years ago. Had a lot of racers involved in that, and when I say a lot of racers involved, I just mean the staging lanes have got a lot of race cars in them, and people are trying to get their bid to get into the championship runoff. NASCAR, NHRA both have adopted a countdown format with a lot more excitement in the end of the points championship. But what we found was racers just couldn't flat follow it and accept the results. So we got away from that. I know some guys didn't like it and express their feelings on that. So the next year, which was last year, we went to more traditional points. And this year, I'm going to talk about kind of what led to the decision of running the points the way we did. I've talked to several racers as to why they don't do points. And it's not just our local area, but the area all around us. I know a lot of racers, even before you talk about the, Kentucky Dragway that I've talked to, Most common answer to that question was they like to race around and don't want to get caught up in all the stress of it. So my mind went to work to try to develop a system that would work for the weekend warrior that doesn't travel much, and one that works for racers that do travel a lot. And I feel like we have now is what we have is awesome. Once we run it out a few times and make some tweaks here and there, I think it will be accepted. Maybe not. I'll go back, and if anybody makes a comment, I'll get it here in just a minute. One of the myths that I wanted to talk about was our 60th anniversary chips. At no point does anyone but one person thought that these chips represented a runoff spot that I've talked to. It was common sense that these represented a keepsake for our 60th anniversary year. We have given these chips out to every race won from Friday night trophy to Saturday night top ET, and even the gamblers racers. It was a 60th anniversary keepsake token that was given out to everyone that has won a race, points or no points. Racers received these with their pay and win sticker. My exact thought process was a racer would make this his lucky charm. 60 years of celebration for the racetrack, keep it in his pocket and use it to bring him good fortune. And that's it. That's all and nothing more. The racer list for the points runoff was posted weeks prior and leading up to the runoff the week of. 2023 points, end of the year awards. Another thing I wanted to clear up and talk about is I had wording on the very bottom of the website under the points tab that stated year-end awards, gold cards, jacket, trophy, was only to be given to those that went to the bracket finals. I said this to promote our racers to support the track in the effort with the bracket finals, a push to get attendance, as we have struggled with that. At no point did it say, and I quote, it had nothing to do with the runoff or being track champion. It just stated that if you won the championship and didn't attend the bracket finals, you wouldn't receive the gold card, jacket, and trophy. I did this to try to motivate people to go to the bracket finals as I was talking with IHRA to try to get more attendance. So I removed it because I realized, for example, let's talk about the 2023 points champion, Keith Purvis. Keith won this year, just this past Saturday. If I'd have kept that wording on there, all he would be getting is the name rights as track champion. If I would have kept the wording on the website, Keith still would have won the name rights to the track championship, but he wouldn't have received the gold card, jacket, and the crystal trophy that we give, as he didn't attend the bracket finals. So I pulled the wording off the website in good favor for the racer. This decision helped the racers get more. I didn't have to honor it as I had words that protected not having to do it, but I wanted to give these awards. So I took it off. And that got misunderstood. People read and we all interpret things differently. I get it. But to say we changed something that hurt the racer in any way is a total myth. Last myth on the point system that I wanted to address. Then we're going to move on to another subject. Did we change from doing single points this year to the current format? That's a yes and no answer. When we found out Colleen was moving away, I had to adjust. This adjustment came 100% before $1 was taken for points. Matter of fact, it was posted months before the first points entry fee was taken. If you don't read and keep up with the information on the website, there's just nothing that we can do about that because we post this stuff on social media and it gets driven down so far. I understand it's hard to find, but we do post this stuff on the KentuckyDragway.com website. Colleen took care of the points. I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up with the points the way she did. Colleen would devote a lot of time on Sunday, Mondays, crossing every T and dotting every I to make sure it was all correct. And she did a fantastic job doing it. I remember one Sunday she was working all day when a racer accused us of missing one of the days that he was there racing on points in a public post. They was telling us that they were there over and over and over and said that they had not missed one race and wouldn't accept the correct answer that was being given to them at that time. Keep in mind, we keep log sheets of all the runs, the printouts of every race, filed with tech cards and point system updates and spreadsheets when Colleen was keeping up with it. I knew that I would fail at that. So I thought, Aaron, you've got to create something that we can be successful with and keeping up with it. After going over that with a fine-tooth comb, the date the racer missed was an actual date they didn't race. Everything was confirmed. And of course, after it was all said and done, and a whole day's worth of work for Colleen, we got a my bad. We was gone to a ball game that weekend. So I knew that I was going to struggle with that and being able to devote that kind of time with no more time than what we have already. So now that Colleen's gone, I had to create something that could be tracked and be efficient and also have a lot of energy and excitement. The Champion of Champions race program was formed. It worked. I loved seeing everyone stick around and root for their favorite driver to win. The next myth is we've paid out over $1 million in guaranteed money. Carrie and I have learned some hard lessons of mistakes we've made, but trust me, we're striving to be as perfect as some of you. With that being said, we pay out what we post. If there's a change, it's posted at the beginning of the week so racers can see it if they just look. And we know most of you all follow the Facebook page, but again, like I said, I know that stuff gets driven down with continuous posting, getting you all the right information and what the current flyer says. Yes, we do make changes depending on the current state of the economy, weather, but they're always posted. But to say and try to mislead people into thinking otherwise is simply not true. If it says guaranteed, it's guaranteed, and you guys know we've paid it. If you don't keep up with the current data we post depending on the current state of the economy, again, like I said, weather and all, I don't know what the fix to that is. We failed to pay one time alone and take full responsibility for it on the Lucky Sevens. And it was, we had cut the purse from $7,000 to $5,000. So we took it to the chin on that and the social media bashing, and I deserved it. Any other statement from someone else is false information, and we can prove it. If I can't prove it, then I'll take full responsibility for being wrong. If you don't understand the language of what's happening, you can always call the track and we will get those questions answered. Pretty simple. Another myth I wanted to kind of address is if you race with us, you know we are fair. If you've had a direct problem with me, you know I will talk with you about it. One of the things is we can't red light you. It's not possible. If you stage so shallow, you're flickering the stage bulb, then more than likely any movement but forward, you're going to possibly set the red light off as you move back at some point. What you got to realize is all it takes is about 30 thousandths and less to break that infrared beam if you're staged that shallow to barely break the beam for the computer to latch. I don't like stage lock. It falsifies the run. I had a racer tell me, yeah, but at least I have a shot. My answer back is, no, you shouldn't if you can't stage your car right. No, you guys go in very shallow. I get it. It's about consistency, setting your delay box. You're just, to me, playing Russian roulette. A beam that is the size of a fishing string, 30 thousandths in diameter, infrared beam that's shooting across the track with the energy barrier around it, sending a signal to the tower. Your video that you all always show us that your car didn't move, it's not possible to see your car move 30 thousandths in video when it's on the two-step, unless it's just obvious that it backs up or rolls forward or rolls through the trans brake. I've just talked to people. We've noticed there are hard button levers. We also had an instance where a guy's front suspension was flexing and the further stage wheel was pulling back when he left the starting line, when he was foot braking. And even if you leave off the trans brake with a line lock where the brakes are dragging or low band needs adjusted, obviously you guys know we can go on for days about this. We even have a link on our website that takes you through a great video to explain all this that was done by some track operators. But all in all, it was great, crowning all the champions, much deserved by all. But lastly, let me leave you with this, and then I'm going to come over here and see what comments I can address and talk to you about. You know, when we've done things in school where we say a message. You go around the room where the first person says something, and by the time it gets to the 15th person, it's totally not the same thing the first person said. And this is not just a classroom problem. This is a global problem. You guys are feeding into stuff that didn't happen. It didn't, and it doesn't. The racers that race with us regularly know this. I can go on for days about specifics and would be happy to talk with anyone about exact happenings and let you hear our side of the story. If you and I have had problems at the track, then that's between you and I. If it's hearsay and you believe it, well, then that's on you, because countless racers that have come and raced with us at Kentucky Dragway ended up coming up to me or Carrie and saying they bought into the political side of things and they see that it's not true and are glad to be back. For those on the fence, I get it. But at some point, when you're ready to make that decision based on your wants and your needs, maybe you'll give us a shot and see for yourself. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your day. I think I've pretty much showed all my clips on everything and just wanted to address some of those things. I'm going to look at the comments and see if I can answer anything. Thanks, Travis, for saying that. I appreciate it, man. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with that for people to be able to go back and I'll have one-on-one conversations with anybody that would like to reach out and talk. I don't see any more comments. And we're going to be racing this weekend. The flyer's on our website. I was trying to do some creative stuff on the flyer. I have the flyer done, but I just don't. Trying to get Keith Purvis back up here. I just don't. I had the flyer done and it's on our website. Trying to make it to where guaranteed payouts, and as more support comes in, we have more pay to reward and pay you guys with. We're looking forward to the Kenmore. We've had a couple of guys ask us if the Kenmore is still on. It is. We've been working on that, and that's where we're at. I hope you guys received this message well, but I just wanted to address things, and I'm going to be trying to do that more often so that it's not just total silence, so that if there is a point that a racer makes that's valid, I have no problem correcting it, changing, trying to make better. I just know when it comes to the points, I know you all, I've told people that we've not been consistent. And I agree with that. I haven't. I just don't feel like I have found what I'm searching for and what I'm trying to create. Racing is different in 2023 versus when we raced in the 90s. People travel more. A lot of people have motorhomes that they didn't have in the 80s and 90s. And I think maybe a more traditional program would work well if we paid $20,000, $30,000 to the championship fund. But for us, those numbers aren't there to be able to pay back to 10th spot. For 2 years, we paid $10,000 each year. This year, we decided to try to spread that out. If you signed up for points, you got 20% off. If you really sit down and do the math, there's been close to $10,000 paid out just in savings. So if you signed up for points, it was a win-win situation. I was talking to a Price about it. And next year, I would like to do the same thing. I liked it. I liked the energy. And I think the champions that won it were well-deserving. And they're along the way. You guys have a great day. Have a great Monday to the rest of your day. And I hope this is received positive and well. If it's not, I apologize. But I just wanted to kind of talk to things and kind of talk about some of the myths that I've heard kind of going around. Don't want to create negativity, only want to create positivity. And maybe if you guys hear it from me in this manner, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. But I appreciate the ones that have tuned in and the ones that will be tuning in later on tonight. This is also located on YouTube. We appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you soon.